Let's begin our journey in the imaginary village of Palampur, a place that serves as a window into rural life and the basics of production. Palampur is not just about farming, though that's the main activity here. The village also buzzes with small-scale manufacturing, dairy, and transport services. Through the story of Palampur, we'll explore how different resources, like land, labor, capital, and human effort, come together to create goods and services. As we move through each scene, you'll see how these elements shape the lives of Palampur's residents and the village's economy. Palampur stands out for its well-developed infrastructure. The village is connected to nearby towns and villages by an all-weather road, making transport easy and reliable. You'll see a variety of vehicles on this road, from bullock carts and tongas to motorcycles and trucks. The village boasts two primary schools, a high school, a government-run health center, and a private dispensary. Electricity powers homes, tube wells, and small businesses, supporting both daily life and economic activity. This strong foundation sets Palampur apart from many other villages in India. Palampur is home to about 450 families from different castes and backgrounds. The upper caste families, who own most of the land, live in large brick houses, while the SC's Dalits make up a third of the population and reside in smaller, often mud and straw houses. Despite these differences, most homes have access to electricity. This diversity shapes the social and economic fabric of the village, influencing everything from land ownership to access to resources and opportunities. Story of Palampur introduces us to two main types of production activities: farming and non-farm activities. While farming is the backbone, non-farm activities like small manufacturing, shopkeeping, and transport also play a role. Each of these requires a mix of resources: natural, man-made, human effort, and money. As we move forward, we'll see how these resources are combined and managed to produce goods and services, and how they impact the lives of villagers. To produce anything, four key requirements must be met: land, labor, physical capital, and human capital. Land includes all natural resources, while labor refers to the people who do the work, some highly skilled, others performing manual tasks. Physical capital is split into fixed capital, like tools, machines, and buildings, and working capital, raw materials, and money in hand. Finally, human capital, knowledge, and enterprise brings everything together, enabling production to happen efficiently. Every production activity in Palampur is organized by combining land, labor, physical capital, and human capital. These are known as the factors of production. For example, a factory in the village uses land for its building, labor to operate machines, and capital in the form of equipment and money. Understanding how these factors interact helps us see how goods and services are created, not just in Palampur but everywhere. Palampur, farming is the main source of livelihood for 75% of the working population. These people are either farmers or farm laborers, and their well-being is closely tied to the success of agriculture. However, there's a major limitation: the land available for cultivation is fixed. Since 1960, there's been no expansion in cultivated land, so farmers must find ways to increase production without expanding their fields. Land in Palampur is measured in hectares, a standard unit used across India. 1 hectare is the area of a square with sides of 100 meters. While local units like bigha or gintha are sometimes used, understanding hectares helps compare land sizes more easily. This is important when discussing how much land is available for farming and how it's distributed among families. Get more from the same land. Palampur's farmers practice multiple cropping, growing more than one crop on the same field in a year. All farmers grow at least 2 main crops, and many have added potatoes as a third crop. During the rainy season, they plant jowar and bajra, which are used as cattle feed. Potatoes are grown between October and December, and wheat is sown in winter. Some land is also used for sugarcane, harvested once a year. Key reason Palampur's farmers can grow 3 crops a year is the village's advanced irrigation system. Electricity arrived early, transforming irrigation from traditional Persian wheels to electric tube wells. This allowed farmers to irrigate larger areas more efficiently, leading to higher crop yields and more reliable harvests. Not all villages in India have such extensive irrigation, making Palampur unique. Green Revolution in the late 1960s brought high-yielding varieties, HYV, of seeds to Indian farmers, including those in Palampur. These seeds, combined with chemical fertilizers, pesticides, and improved irrigation, significantly increased crop yields. For example, wheat yields jumped from 1,300 kg to 3,200 kg per hectare. However, these modern methods require more cash and resources than traditional farming, making it harder for small farmers to keep up. While modern farming methods have boosted production, they've also led to environmental problems. Overuse of chemical fertilizers can reduce soil fertility and pollute water sources. Continuous use of groundwater for irrigation has lowered water tables. These issues highlight the need for sustainable farming practices to protect natural resources for future generations. Land is not distributed equally in Palampur. About 1/3 of the 450 families are landless, most of them Dalits. Of the families who own land, 240 cultivate small plots less than 2 hectares, which often don't provide enough income. Only 60 families are medium or large farmers, with some owning more than 10 hectares. This unequal distribution affects income, opportunities, and social status in the village. Farming in Palampur involves both traditional and modern methods. Some farmers still use bullocks for plowing and natural manure for fertilizing, while others have adopted tractors, chemical fertilizers, and pesticides. The choice of method often depends on the size of the farm and the resources available to the farmer. This mix of old and new reflects the gradual transition in rural India. Farm laborers in Palampur like Dala and Ramkali face tough conditions. They don't own land and must work for daily wages, which are often below the government's minimum. There's heavy competition for work, so many accept lower pay just to survive. Their lives are marked by uncertainty, hard labor, and limited opportunities, making them some of the poorest in the village. Wages for farm laborers in Palampur vary widely and are often paid in cash, kind, or even meals. Employment can be for a day, a season, or a whole year depending on the needs of the farmer. Because there are more people seeking work than jobs available, wages stay low and job security is weak. This situation pushes many to seek work in nearby towns or cities. Modern farming requires significant capital for seeds, fertilizers, irrigation, and machinery. Small farmers often lack the savings to cover these costs and must borrow money, usually from large farmers or local moneylenders at high interest rates. This can lead to a cycle of debt and hardship, especially if crops fail or prices drop. Small farmers like Savita must borrow money at high interest rates and often work as laborers to repay their loans. In contrast, medium and large farmers use their own savings to finance the next season's farming. They can also invest in new equipment or expand into non-farm activities, giving them more stability and opportunities for growth. After harvest, farmers keep some of their produce for family use and sell the surplus in the market. Small farmers have little surplus, while medium and large farmers supply most of the wheat to the market. Traders buy the wheat and sell it to shopkeepers in towns and cities, creating a link between rural producers and urban consumers. Dairy is another important activity in Palampur. Many families keep buffaloes and sell milk to traders in nearby Rayganj. The milk is collected and chilled before being transported to distant towns and cities. This provides an additional source of income for villagers and connects Palampur to wider markets. Manufacturing in Palampur is done on a small scale, often at home or in the fields using family labor. For example, Ms. Frilil runs a sugarcane crushing unit while Kareem has opened a computer class center. These ventures use simple methods and limited capital, but they provide valuable income and employment beyond farming. Palampur has a handful of shopkeepers who buy goods from wholesale markets in the city and sell them in the village. These small general stores offer everything from food and toiletries to stationery and clothing. Some families have even opened small shops near the bus stand, selling snacks and daily essentials. Transport is a growing sector in Palampur. Rickshaw pullers, tongawalas, jeep and truck drivers, and even traditional bullock carts ferry people and goods between Palampur and Rayganj. Improved roads and increased demand have created more jobs in transport, helping villagers earn extra income. Shura, a farm laborer, improved his life by taking a government loan to buy a buffalo. He now sells milk and uses his buffalo cart for transport work, carrying goods like clay and jaggery. This diversification has increased his income and made him less dependent on farm wages alone, showing how non-farm activities can change lives. Over the years, farming in Palampur has changed dramatically. New methods have increased crop yields but also put pressure on land and natural resources. Medium and large farmers can use their savings to invest in the next season, while small farmers struggle with debt and low production. Labor is abundant, but jobs are limited, pushing many to seek work elsewhere or in non-farm sectors. Currently, only about 24% of rural workers in India are engaged in non-farm activities. In Palampur, these include dairy, manufacturing, trade, and transport. While each activity employs only a few people, they offer hope for diversifying income and reducing dependence on farming. Expanding these sectors requires access to capital and markets. To start non-farm activities, villagers need capital either from their own savings or through loans. Low-interest loans are crucial for those without savings, enabling them to set up businesses and improve their livelihoods. As more villages get better roads and communication, opportunities for non-farm activities are likely to increase. Markets in nearby towns and cities are essential for selling goods produced in Palampur, from milk and jaggery to wheat. Improved roads, transport, and communication help connect the village to these markets, making it easier for villagers to earn income and expand their businesses. Small farmers face many challenges: limited land, lack of capital, and dependence on high-interest loans. Their production is often just enough for family needs, leaving little surplus to sell or save. Many must work as laborers or seek non-farm jobs to make ends meet. Addressing these issues is key to improving rural livelihoods. Story of Palampur highlights both the progress and the challenges of rural India. As farming methods evolve and non-farm activities grow, there's hope for better livelihoods and more opportunities. Ensuring access to capital, markets, and sustainable practices will be crucial for the future. With continued development, villages like Palampur can become models of rural prosperity and resilience.